So guys, I want to talk Callum Smith, Sergey Kovalev. There's been a lot of talk that, Callum Smith may fight Sergey Kovalev. I think, if I'm honest with you guys, I've been very impressed with Callum Smith, if I'm totally honest. I think Callum Smith's a very good fighter. I think he's very underrated. I think he's gone under the radar, and I think there's not been a lot of media coverage around Callum Smith, but he could become one of Britain's top fighters. He definitely has the potential, and he's just a very calm character. He's not very brash. He's not very boastful. He just gets on with the job kind of character, and I think that's probably hurt his image and profile a little bit, because not many people know who he is. Boxing fans and hardcore boxing fans understand that he's a very good fighter. He's very talented, and he's always been like that. But unfortunately, his profile's not been able to grow to the extent that it really needed to. They're talking about a stadium fight, but I'm not sure whether he has the profile to fill out a stadium, if I'm honest with you. It probably have to be against an opponent which will probably be filling the stadium out for him. Don't get me wrong, people in Liverpool will come out to support their own. However, Callum Smith, a lot of people won't know who he is. Even though he's world champion and he's a good fighter, he's not got the profile, unfortunately, and I don't know why that is. Some guys just don't have it. Callum was another one where, although he's a good fighter and now he's developed into a decent name, he never kind of managed to get the profile that, the profile that he really deserved. Because even though there was Sky behind him and Eddie Hearn behind him, powerful broadcaster and a powerful promoter, but he never managed to get that big, like a Khan or like a Joshua or like a Hay. He never managed to reach that level from a profile point of view. And some fighters just don't. They just don't have, that star quality, or there's something missing that stopped their profile from getting to that next level. That's not to say Kell Brook earned a lot of money, and so has Callum Smith in that World Boxing Super Series. It's just their profiles are not the best. So I think the fight with Kovalev is a great fight. I would love to see Callum Smith v Sergey Kovalev. I think it's a fight Callum Smith can win. It's a very risky fight because he'd be moving up weight, and after watching Sergey Kovalev's last performance, it was a very impressive display, and Kovalev can punch as well, and obviously Callum Smith will be moving up weight, so it would be a tough fight. And I think Callum Smith is fighting in a weak super middleweight division, so Callum Smith could look at it two ways. Either go up and I'll test myself in a light heavyweight division, which there's a possibility he might not become world champion in because of the kind of fighters he's going to face. And he'd be stepping up to that next level. Or he can stay in the super middleweight division, stay in a weak division where he could probably dominate and maybe become an undisputed champion and raise his profile. Whereas if he goes up to light heavyweight and fights Kovalev and loses, all of a sudden that undefeated record's gone and that hype around you's gone. Whereas if he stays in the super middleweight division, keep building up his name, and he has a chance, like I said. Caleb Plant's a champion. In my opinion, Callum Smith beats Caleb Plant. There's other champions, and I think Callum Smith has got a good chance of beating them all. It's a fairly weak division, So rather than moving up, I think he's got unfinished business, and I think he said this. I think he mentioned this in an interview with Boxing Social, that he's still got unfinished business at super middleweight, and I think that's the right way for Callum Smith to think. But in terms of the fight, I think it will be a great fight. I would say it's probably a 50-50 fight. Callum Smith is tall, he's big, Kovalev's a big puncher, he's natural at that weight, so in my opinion that will be a 50-50 fight. I wouldn't lead towards anyone. I think Callum Smith would be a much better fight for Kovalev, a much harder fight for Kovalev than Alvarez. Although Alvarez beat him, I think it's still Callum Smith is technically very good, and he can also crack, and he's a big dude, so that will be a hard fight for Kovalev. But leave your thoughts, guys, in the comment section below. Would you love to see that fight? Leave your thoughts, and guys, remember to please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.